Hello again to another episode of Anime Splash. I'm Neal Trotter.
And I'm Ricky Morris.
Now today we're going to be talking about this anime. It's called Kids on the Slope, translated in English. Can't really say the Japanese title, but it's translated to Kids on the Slope. So as usual, we're going to start off with a plot breakdown by Ricky.
Alright, so this is another slice of life anime that we're doing. And basically it focuses on this teenager, Karu, who's always moving from school to school because of his father's job. And at this school, he meets up with Sentaru and his friend Ritsuko. And he just sort of befriends them and basically just goes through like many slice of life elements, and there's also a good jazz theme in there as well. They end up playing a lot of music. And it's pretty typical, really. Just straight up, two guys being friends and stuff like that.
So there you have it with the slice of life genre. That's what this anime really is. I guess what I was looking at, I took it in kind of a different way. I knew it was a slice of life, but the way I thought it was a very interesting anime. The way they used the plot elements, and I actually loved the plot elements in this show, and it was very interesting how they did it, because it starts off, this kid, high school student, he doesn't fit in and all that, the typical things that go on with that. So I'm thinking when I first watched it, okay, this is going to be one of those teen angst type of shows where the kid deals with bullying and rebellion and all that stuff. And then he meets this buddy, this friend, who helps him out. They can relate with one another. So I'm thinking like, oh, okay, this is going to be like one of those shows where they focus on a relationship, a friendship, and buddy building. And that's what it's going to be about, which is cool. I like those too. Those are always fun. And then they get into this whole jazz thing. So that's another plot element they have. And these are the big ones. And so I'm thinking like, okay, because the boy can play the main character can play the piano, and his friend, who's another main character, he can play the drums, and they relate on this level with the jazz. And so they really push this jazz thing on you. So I'm thinking like, oh, okay, this show is going to be about jazz and how jazz influenced lives, and they're going to get into the jazz artists of the time, and how you got to be impromptu when you're playing it, and all the whole thing with the jazz. So I'm thinking like, okay, this is cool, I'm liking this. And then they start jumping into more relationship stuff where they start getting into these love triangles and these typical she likes her, he likes him, that type of thing. So then it becomes like, okay, what is this show about? Is it about love triangles? Is it about jazz? Is it about T-Dags? Is it about buddy-buddy relationship? And really it's about all those things, because it's a slice of life, and it just, because all of life is about these type of things, these, music or whatever you're interested in, and it's always about whether you want to admit it or not, life is about relationships and lovey-dovey stuff at times, and then you got the friendship. So it's about all those things. So I understand that, this is part of slice of life. But at the same time, it was kind of disappointing to me, because each one of these elements, these plot elements they throw in, could be its own show, especially the jazz. I thought the jazz would be really cool if they kind of focused on that and just made it its own show, where they started really getting into the influential artists and how their passion for it, and how they do these jam sessions. I think that would be really cool. But they use that as just a overall plot element to push the story of the slice of life anime forward, and they don't give as much attention to it as I wish. And then the other ones, like the buddy thing with the whole, that could be its own show. But even though it's a strong part of the show, there's still other elements like the teen angst and all that other stuff they throw in to kind of keep it all balanced. And maybe many people watching the show will like that. But I thought it kind of makes it, like Ricky said, it's kind of average. You know, it's a typical slice of life anime. When
it's still good. Just like, I wouldn't say average. It's just like, when I meant average, I meant like the setting and everything is just, I mean, it's like normal. It's like nothing crazy is happening.
I see. Yeah, it's not crazy fantasy. You know, people fighting. Well, there's some scuffles.
Yeah,
some basic fighting.
There's actually some action. You know, just like what you mentioned earlier, dealing with bullying and stuff, and you know the two main characters get into a couple of fights. You know.
So Ricky is saying that this anime is not average. I'm actually saying that it is average because they don't focus enough on these really cool elements. Rather, they decide to just do this whole overall, I'm going to just focus on the life building of these people, which bottom line becomes just a show about people's lives, which, you know, it can be interesting instead of a show about a concept or like a specific type of element, which I think would be more interesting. But some other positives is that this show kind of develops quickly, which is kind of unusual with these kinds of anime. Usually there's a slow build up and things drag on, but this show develops a lot in terms of in the first 3 episodes, a lot of stuff happens, and you get to know a lot about the lives of these characters, even in the first 3 episodes, which I thought was pretty good. It was pretty good. And another positive thing, like I said, each plot element by itself is really cool. It's just I wish they kind of just focused on one, but there's a lot of interesting things going on in this anime for sure. Let's see. And then one of the minus things is, I guess it's just my personal thing. I'm not really too much of a fan of the whole love triangle unless it's really crazy. Maybe somebody's psychotic, or like maybe it's a love octagon or something like that. Okay, that's crazy. But when this is typical, like things I see in actual real life, it kind of gets a little more to the soap opera end, and it kind of bores me. And that's kind of just personally why it kind of hurt this anime, in my opinion.
I kind of disagree on that. Just really, just for me, just like the love triangle kind of annoys me, but really, I just want to see how the characters like deal with this type of situation, like how they're gonna react to, what's going on, like who's this one girl gonna choose end up at the end,
So you're interested. I don't care, but that's cool that you actually care. That's very, I'm sure if people watch the show, they're really like, ooh, I wonder who she's gonna pick. This is gonna be interesting. I wonder if the guy's gonna fight till the end or not. And for me, it's like, who gives a damn? But hey, that's all good. But this is Kids on the Slope. And the name says it all. It's about kids and they're on the slope.
Yeah, they actually mentioned like when you're heading towards the school, there's like this slope.
Yeah, they're
this
walking.
Hill, you walk up and down, so
that's part of the title.
So a couple of scenes take place on there.
On the slope. But I think that the title describes it even better, furthermore, because it's about kids in their lives, whether it's on the slope at school, the kids in life. That's what this show.
Ups and downs.
Ups and downs of kids.
Yeah.
In the 70s or wherever. It takes place in the 70s or the 60s, I forgot. In the past.
It takes place in the past.
They play a lot of records, so whenever vinyl records were big, that's when it's taking place. So the question is, with Anime Splash, we watched the first 3 episodes. Would you continue watching the show? And so, Ricky?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of figured. But that's cool. And I can see a lot of people liking this show. But this is a good show, but I would not continue watching it because of the slice, just the love triangles. I've seen enough of that. But I would continue watching it if they focused a little bit more on the jazz. That would be cool. But yeah, since that's kind of put on the back burner sometimes for the other stuff, I think I will not. But this is a very good anime. Yeah, a slice of life if you're really into that type of thing, and it's very interesting. The way, not only is it interesting because of the various plot elements and the characters who are they're cool. The characters are, especially the one friend that the main character meets, he's really interesting.
Yeah, Sintaro.
Yeah, that he's pretty crazy. But the way the story is told is kind of I think it's interesting. I don't want to spoil it. They just the way the storytelling is done is pretty unique in my opinion. Well, anything you want to throw out there just for the sake of throwing it out there?
No, just
Anime Splash.
Leave a comment, or if you have any comments, just leave one. Or any recommendations you want us to review something for you or whatever. Don't be shy.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Check out our YouTube channel. That's Game Zone Recreation. So it's youtube.com/Game Zone Recreation.